Hello all, Tony here. We saw US stock markets finish higher on Friday in a session that featured the Supreme Court striking down President Trump's IEEPA tariffs and a less than ideal mix of economic data featuring slower growth paired with firmer inflation. The US administration has since implemented a temporary 15% universal tariff under Section 122. Overall, we think this outcome was largely expected, which is supported by a relatively modest decline in S&P futures, which have fallen about 0.5% following their reopening this week. Looking ahead, US earnings season continues this week, including the one everybody is waiting for, of course, Nvidia. And aside from earnings, there will be keen interest in the CB Consumer Confidence Index for February. Now, the market's looking for a modest rebound there to around 87.3 from the 84.5 low it struck in January, which was the lowest level of consumer confidence seen since May 2014. Let's take a look at the charts of the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones to see how they're lining up at the start of this new week. Okay, so starting with the NASDAQ, not a lot has changed since our last update. The correction in the NASDAQ, which really started back here in late October, continues to play out. And you've got this double top here, which still the NASDAQ really needs to get above to confirm that this correction is complete. Now, the first indication the correction is complete would be a break above this high at 25,382 we saw a couple of weeks ago. And that would then open a way for a retest of this record high double top. Until then, there's still scope for this NASDAQ to continue its correction. Ideally, I'd love to see it get back towards the 200-day moving average. And then we see signs of basing there around 24,000. But I'm not hanging my hat on that. With this correction, it has been largely playing out fairly predictably. And now we're waiting for either a final dip down to here or some signs that the correction is complete. For the Dow Jones, what you can see here is that we had this push up to the record high about 2 weeks ago, and then it pulled back. It wasn't able to sort of build on that momentum higher, but the pullback has been to this uptrend support coming from the Liberation Day low at around 36,611. So while the Dow Jones holds above this trend line, you would be feeling that there is still a chance that we can retest this high and potentially push up towards 51,000. Conversely, if we were to see the Dow Jones see a sustained break below this trend line support, let's say around 49,100-ish, give or take 50 points, then you would be then looking for at least a pullback towards 48,500, which is coming from these lows here. And then if that level was to break, then there is some horizontal support coming in at around 48,000. You can see this high over here. Then there's some lows just below there. So that's how the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ are lining up for this week. Stay tuned for more updates, and thank you for listening.